Vardaan 1. The Ultimate Boon. Written by Mr. Deepak Sadia. Chapter 6. Caste Expulsion. A few days later, 11 great Brahmins, the chairman, Beli Rama, Krishna Chandra, Kumari Rukmini's Pitta, and prominent people from Kumari Rukmini's community gathered in the Brahman Bhawana. Brahman Bhawana was a special building. It was the Brahmin parliament of the Kumara kingdom. For the entire Brahmin community of Kumara kingdom, all rules and regulations were passed in that building. The chairman and 11 great Brahmins were known as rulemakers. The meetings of the chairman and 11 great Brahmins were known as Brahman Sabhas. Usually only top Brahmin can join the Brahman Sabhas. But today, there were also non-Brahmin present in the Brahman Sabha. There were 4 types of seating arrangements in Brahman Bhawana. A chair was placed in the center near the east wall of Brahman Bhawana for the chairman. On the right side of the chairman, there were 11 chairs placed for great Brahmins. On the left hand of the chairman, there were 2 types of seating arrangements. One place for a few people was known as Yachanasthla, and the second place for more people was named Sematakanda. As Brahman Bhavana was a Brahmin parliament, there were many times when Brahmin people came with demands and requests. Whenever a petitioner joined Brahman Sabha, he had to sit in Yachanasthla. Yachanasthla was a place to plead. Whoever joined the Brahman Sabha, in support of that petitioner, had to sit in Sematakanda. Sematakanda was the place for whom those agreed with the petitioner, and came to help his cause. There was a 5th place to sit named Vishamsthana that was behind the Sematakanda, but there were no chairs at all. Vishamsthana was the place for non-Brahmins. As Brahmin considered themselves as kids of Lord Brahma, they believed no one could sit along with them. That rule was not just for niches. That rule also applied to the king. As Brahmin were the teachers of kings, it was easy to create fear in the minds of kings about God and also God's sons. That is why not even the king dared to challenge the seating arrangement of having no chairs. Kshatriya and kings always kept pleading to God that God never gave them the misfortune to join Brahman Sabha, so that they could save their pride by not sitting on the ground in front of Brahmins. Everybody was sitting, as per the rules. The chairman and great Brahmins were on their seats. Beli Rama and Krishna Chandra were sitting at Yachanasthla. No one was at Sematakanda, and niches were comfortably sitting on the ground at Vishamsthana. It was normal for the niche people to sit on the ground after being insulted. The people of the niche community were terrorized. Those Akuts knew that they had committed some sort of crime. But they were completely unaware of that crime. The Akuts were mentally preparing themselves to be punished for an unintentional mistake. That was also very common for the Akuts. When everyone became comfortable in the Brahman Sabha, the chairman signaled to Beli Rama. So he got up from his place and told the chairman his wish. Hearing that wish, all the Akuts were astonished and 10 great Brahmins got angry. They started screaming in anger. The Akuts immediately understood that many of them would be killed today. The unwanted and premature death was also routine stuff for niches. The astonished chairman looked for a while into Beli Rama's eyes, and then stood up to pacify everyone. Don't forget that this is a Brahman Sabha, not a local chapel, roadside discussion place of common people, where all of you can behave in such an abusive manner without any restriction. Is my job as the chairman now to teach etiquette to you people? Will I have to teach the rules of the Brahman Sabha to you great Brahmins too? The chairman shouted. At the behest of the chairman, everyone was embarrassed and sat in their respective places, but no one's anger was quelled. The chairman pointed to Pandit Kedarnatha and asked him to answer. Pandit Kedarnatha was the only Brahmin who was calm among 10 angry Brahmins. It is a different matter that Kedarnatha was waiting for this opportunity to hide his anger. Pandit Kedarnatha was none other than Beli Rama's staunch rival, who had an enmity with Beli Rama since childhood. His profession was Panditai too. Like a true enemy, He did not leave any chance till today in which he could humiliate Bali Rama. Bali Rama had not missed a single chance where he had not given a befitting reply to Kedarnatha. Actually, today's meeting was not a top Brahmin meeting. It was a meeting of Pundit Kedarnatha. Bali Rama had called this meeting keeping in mind the one and only Kedarnatha, because he knew that Kedarnatha, who had been seeing the face of defeat continuously since childhood, would make every effort to disturb his son's marriage when he came to know. Due to that, there will be a disturbance in the auspicious work of marriage. Secondly, Bali Rama's family had to face astigmatism publicly. Bali Rama was known for his visionary skills. Thinking that way, Bali Rama gave this opportunity to Kedarnatha himself. Whatever will happen in Brahman Sabha will remain in Brahman Sabha. Whatever criticism they will face due to great Brahmins will remain there only. With the help of that plan, Bali Rama made sure that Kedarnatha would not be able to insult him or his family publicly. Bali Rama's plan was going exactly as planned. Unaware of Bali Rama's plan, Kedarnatha was very happy that day. He did not get so much happiness even when his fourth son Tejasraha was made the Acharya of Prince Keshava Kumara in place of Krishna Chandra. The victory at that time was unexpected, as Krishna Chandra was not removed from his post by the potential of Kedarnatha's son. Tejasraha got his vacant post only after Krishna Chandra left. "Today I will bury you in the ground," Kedarnatha said to himself. Clearly, it was not possible to measure Kedarnatha's happiness. That day Kedarnatha had the biggest opportunity of his life. That day his dream of years was about to come true. That day he will humiliate Bali Rama face to face. Thinking all that, another thought came to his mind, which made his eyes gleam. He was sitting patiently while thinking about all that. When Kedarnatha looked up with happiness just then, the chairman appeared in front of him, gesturing him to answer Bali Rama. The chairman's gesture became the signal of attack for Kedarnatha. Converting all his jealousy into energy, Kedarnatha stood up. Everyone knows that for the last 4 decades, Pundit Bali Rama has been my strongest opponent. But it is only my conscience, and my God knows that I have always admired the merit, knowledge, and personality of this great rival. I was his biggest admirer. I used to respect him a lot. Yes, Chairman, I used to respect him a lot, now I don't. The shamelessness with which he talked about getting his son married to the daughter of this niche community, that irresponsible behavior itself proves that this great wise man is no longer worthy to be called a Brahmin. The chairman, representing all the great Brahmins, I demand the expulsion of Bali Rama from the Brahmin community. Kedarnatha said firmly. For decades, Bali Rama had been giving challenges to Kedarnatha, but Kedarnatha could never win them based on his knowledge and ability. He had earned a lot of money, but his place in the Brahmin community was always second. Even many years of effort could not get him first place. But if the first position becomes vacant on its own, then he will come to the first position without doing anything. It was the thought that had brought a gleam to Kedarnatha's eyes a while back. Revenge from the enemy and also the first place. Kedarnatha could not have had a better opportunity than that. Therefore Kedarnatha, without wasting any time, demanded the caste expulsion of Bali Rama and avenged all the previous defeats with a single blow. Unaware of this personal interest of Kedarnatha, the great Brahmins unanimously supported Kedarnatha. This is exactly what I was expecting from you Brahmin lords. I was ready for it too. Respecting the decision of the chairman, I accept the caste expulsion. Without listening to the chairman, Bali Rama said with folded hands. Although the chairman's decision had not come, it was enough for Kedarnatha that Bali Rama agreed to the sentence. He somehow controlled his desire to dance but lost control over his tongue. Coots, do you have any work for our former best Punditji? There should be anything that he can do for a living, because this Bali Rama cannot do Punditai anymore. No one will invite him to any religious rituals, we will not allow him to be called. Kedarnatha said excitedly. Hearing that, Krishna Chandra lost his cool. Very good, Pandit Ji. I must say this is a very great move. To whom your talent and your ego could not beat, you ended the competition by getting his hands cut off. Such a great schematic move. Seems like social but a very much personal beneficial move. Krishna Chandra said, seeing his father being insulted. Bali Rama tried to stop him, but Krishna Chandra went on ignoring him. Seeing his secret being revealed, Kedarnatha shuddered. Oh! You idiot young man, I am better than your pitta in every aspect. Kedarnatha shouted, as he was unable to bear Krishna Chandra's words. The supreme feature of a wise man is that he does not call idiot even to the most retarded man. His mental prosperity is reflected only in this behavior. Krishna Chandra immediately answered Kedarnatha. Bali Rama, control the tongue of your shameless putara. Kedarnatha thundered. Those words strike hard on the conscience of the proud father of a son who was a true gentleman. Bali Rama gave a harsh look to Kedarnatha. Pandit Kedarnatha, everyone has the right to groan when there is pain. You jealous Pandit, how dare you call my putara stupid? If you have the courage, prove your superiority by answering my putara's questions. Bali Rama said. Just like the son, the father also could not digest the insult of his wise son, who was known as the most literate young man of Aryavarta. Kedarnatha was shocked again. He did not expect such an answer from Pandit Bali Rama. He restrained himself with great difficulty and looked at the chairman. Supreme Brahmin Lord, you are seeing this? How rude these Pitta and Putara have become. They don't feel ashamed to talk to the Mahapundit in this tone? Kedarnatha cleverly sought the chairman's help, as he was well aware of Krishna Chandra's talent. It was impossible to answer to the son whose father he had not been able to beat throughout his life. The son who had the honor of being the most educated youth in Aryavarta. The most educated youth of Aryavarta, those words already started haunting Kedarnatha. You don't worry, Mahapundit Kedarnatha. I am watching and understanding everything carefully. Putara of Pandit Bali Rama, ask whatever you want to. Our great Pandit Kedarnatha will give a proper answer to each question, the chairman said calmly. When the chairman said, the ground itself slipped from under the feet of Kedarnatha. What seemed like the most beautiful day a while back was now turning into the worst. In fact, even the chairman understood the truth of Krishna Chandra's allegation. Kedarnatha, with one of his tricks, had almost got Bali Rama removed from the caste. Now the move which he had used to defend himself, the chairman found it against him. The chairman felt that he was laying a trap to snatch the chairmanship from him too, because if the chairman is defeated in any kind of verbal war, then according to the rule he will have to leave his post himself. Avoiding any kind of unexpected crisis, the chairman put everything back on Kedarnatha himself. A few moments had passed since the chairman outdare Bali Rama's putara, but not a single word came out of Kedarnatha's mouth. He had already seen the end of the discussion, having blamed himself for this situation. Although Bali Rama and his family were going to do the anti-system thing, Kedarnatha was going to be proven guilty. His sharp mind had gone numb. He could not understand what to do and what not to do. The chairman felt that Kedarnatha wanted to surround him with some new trick, so he again said, Pandit Ji, Akuts are also present in this sabha. By keeping silent, you are bowing the heads of Brahmins in front of non-Brahmins. Can't the Brahmin community debate? Do we belong to a coward caste? At the behest of the chairman, the scales of the anger of the remaining Brahmin lords tilted towards Kedarnatha. Due to this, even the little courage that was left of Kedarnatha was lost. Panditji, we have full faith in your ability. Do you believe in yourself? The chairman said again, reading the rest of the great Brahman's body language. Kedarnatha could not ignore those words. He angrily stared at Krishna Chandra. I am ready. A non-Brahmin young man with the illusion of thinking of himself as a great scholar, Ask whatever you want to. Kedarnatha said. Kedarnatha used such words thoughtfully, so that even if he loses, Beli Rama's caste expulsion remains and other Brahmins see him as non-Brahmin. So that he gets unexpected support from other Brahmins as Brahmin man. Krishna Chandra was ready for the discussion, since he was in the jungle. So without wasting much time, tell me why a Brahmin cannot be married in any other caste. What is the harm in joining such relations? Krishna Chandra asked in a very polite manner. That's our culture, that's what we've been doing since the beginning. Kedarnatha instantly replied, while looking at great Brahmins in search of moral support. From the beginning, okay, if I am not wrong, from the beginning we have been walking on feet, so why do we now use horses and bullock carts? Did you mean that instead of walking using vehicles is against our culture? Krishna Chandra asked again. Krishna Chandra was still so polite. What? Kedarnatha could not say anything more than this. Don't even try to escape by referring to religious books. You must know who I am. There is no book in Aryavarta that I have not read myself. It is not written in any book that a Brahmin will be married to a Brahmin only. And even by mistake, refrain from saying physical relation with Akuts is wrong from the religious and social point of view, or that having relations with them leads to diseases, because if you say anything like this, then I will call prostitutes from the brothels of the city and ask which Brahmins worship to lust while drinking wine there in the dark of night. Just believe me, Brahmin Lord, in your affair the dark faces of so many will come to the fore. If anyone tries to prove me a liar, I will take their statements in the temple with Mata Ganga in their hands. Krishna Chandra said in one go. Krishna Chandra looked at every Brahmin one by one presented in the Brahmin Sabha. Krishna Chandra found each one was ignoring him. The chairman was also chanting Rama Rama with his head bowed. What pleased him more than fear was that the chairman kept himself away from this controversy. Kedarnatha did not have any logic beforehand. Hearing about the relationship with the prostitutes, the rest of the great Brahmins also became speechless. I also know the rituals in which prostitutes are used as offerings to God, and we all know who uses those offerings in the name of God. Krishna Chandra said with a little anger. Saying so, it is as if Krishna Chandra has torn every Brahmin's clothes. No one dared to look at him. For the first time, the Akuts felt superior to the Brahmins. Anything you do under the influence of religion, money, liquor, and lust, there is no restriction for you. I love the Akut girl, and I say this in front of everyone. I don't want to play the game of lust secretly, but want to marry with respect. Just to stop my good deeds, you guys come up with all the rules and regulations. You guys are beyond rules and I come under each stupid rule. You all are doing bad yet you all are good. I am doing good yet I am wrong. How? Krishna Chandra said with full anger. Everyone was feeling the aggression in Krishna Chandra's voice. Any civilized person could understand that aggression. That aggression did not emerge from arrogance. Krishna Chandra's intention was not to hurt anyone. The bitter reality was that those Brahmin lords were hurting innocent lovers. The aggression appeared in Krishna Chandra's tone merely a groan of pain. Seeing everyone's bowed eyes, Kedarnatha could not stay away. He gathered some courage. What do you want to say? Our ancestors were fools. The social rules and regulations made by them were mere stupidity. No Putara, no, they were great people. Their greatness gave birth to our generation, and gave so much voice as well as thoughts to your generation. If they had not made this arrangement, would it have been possible for you to reach here today? Not at all. So don't question the system and values made by our ancestors. Kedarnatha said. Kedarnatha thought Krishna Chandra's tone would go down, and his fellow Brahmin lords were again starting to feel pride in Brahmanhood. I don't understand why you guys always blame your forefathers for your shortcomings. This defeat is not of the ancestors, but the ignorance of you people. Have you ever tried to verify the knowledge written in books, instead of memorizing it? Have you ever done any experiments or research? I bet you would never have done that. You people have only acquired education, not knowledge. Experience is real knowledge, research is to be called knowledge. Krishna Chandra said sadly. Krishna Chandra's sadness was for his Brahmin community. During jungle days, he understood the fact that people of his community are forced to live ignorant lives. Instead of asking, they were forced to memorize things. The situation of Brahmin Kumar's sons was worse than Neech Kumar's. Neech Kumars were restricted from taking education, so they were compelled to live an ignorant life. But Brahmin Kumars had the right to education. Yet they were not doing experiments. They were not finding the truth in words written in the books. All eyes were on Krishna Chandra. Everyone could see the truth in his words. At that time, that meeting was being held not as a meeting but as a class. Krishna Chandra himself seemed to be the Acharya, and the rest of the people were Shishas. Krishna Chandra was not telling but showing. He was not insulting anyone but was explaining. His preaching like an Acharya was satisfying everyone's soul. If you had examined the knowledge given by the ancestors, you would have come to know the logic hidden in it. The ancestors had said that a Brahmin should be married to a Brahmin. They did not say that a Brahmin would be married only to a Brahmin. By this, they meant that people of similar religions or castes already know and understand each other's customs, way of life, and religious beliefs very well. This facilitates harmony between two families. The distance between the newlyweds quickly fades away. Similarly, if there is a family relationship between people of two different religions or castes, then many problems can arise. The nature of every person is different, so the probability of bitterness in the relationship will increase. But if two families decide that they will understand every problem with patience, then the relationship will never deteriorate. Krishna Chandra said and looked around. Everyone seemed like a good listener. That was the first time Krishna Chandra felt pride in his Brahmin community. There was a saying among them that Brahmins are wise not just with voice, but even with behavior. Gestures of all great Brahmins were giving proof of that phrase. Every great Brahmin was in learning mode. They were learning from a young man. Let me give an example of this. Suppose you do not know how to ride a horse, then your well-wishers will advise you not to go on a horse. Although they are forbidding going on a horse, did they say that no one should ever travel on a horse? Not at all. If you are determined to ride a horse, you will learn a horse and run a horse in no time. Krishna Chandra said with the trust that everyone will understand it. Beli Rama was surprised by this interpretation of Krishna Chandra. He did not understand it like that. But where is the time for you great Brahmin lords to understand the logic involved in the knowledge received from the forefathers? Everyone uses their ancestors' statements in a personal way. Everyone twists the statements according to his convenience. Similarly, an ignorant leader starts a ritual by becoming a leader, and the rest of the ignorant start following it like blind followers. The situation is such that in the Brahmin community who consider themselves great, only blind devotees are left. To be right, the Brahmin community needs only blind devotees. If one sets his mind and goes from false to logical, then he is wrong, he is anti-system. One who wants to illuminate his life with the light of truth is a sinner. He is not fit to be called a Brahmin. The contractors of Brahmin society hate thinking humans. They need animals that follow quietly while waving their tails. So that their empire of the darkness of ignorance continues like this. Krishna Chandra said sadly. Krishna Chandra's sadness reflected the pain that he felt for his community members. Beli Rama tapped his back. Krishna Chandra controlled his emotions and was ready to give his verdict. Chairman, I and my family have no love for the darkness of stupidity. We want to live with our heads raised in the light of actuality. Now that it is forbidden in your society, so we will by our will, protect our self-respect, and boycott your Brahmin society. Yes, Chairman, you are not expelling us. We are evicting ourselves from your ignorant caste. Krishna Chandra said. Krishna Chandra was still quite polite. The father-son stood with folded hands that were a gesture of civilization. The chairman went speechless. The father-son took the chairman's silence as acceptance. So Beli Rama folded his hands towards the Akuts. Pitashiri of Kumari Rukmini, we are no longer Brahmins. Right now no one will give us the work of Punditai. But our knowledge is still with us. I have full faith in my Putara. He will always make your daughter happy. Will you give your daughter's hand to my Putara's hand? Beli Rama said politely. Hearing so, all the great Brahmins stood up. They wanted to say something, but no one had words. The problem of the Akuts was more serious. They were afraid of all sides. So they were speechless too. Kumari Rukmini's father was looking at his companions one by one, but no one was able to suggest anything. The mind of Kumari Rukmini's father was eager to say yes while dancing, but he was not in a position to bear the wrath of the other Brahmins. A man who had just put all Brahmins to shame by showing them a mirror of reality, how could that Akut father be happy by having his daughter's relationship with him? The father of Kumari Rukmini finally lowered his eyes. Seeing that, Beli Rama was depressed. Just then the chairman came down from his seat. Forgive us, Pundit Beli Rama, we have become wise in the true sense today. Putara Krishna Chandra believed that Brahmins have always followed their elders. But Brahmins are not ignorant. We are not so stupid at all that we do not believe in the clearly visible truth. The more strongly we follow the principles, the more openly we accept our mistakes and repent for them. We Brahmins do not delay even for a moment in implementing good things in our lives. The chairman said. Beli Rama did not expect that at all. The rest of the Brahmins happily supported the chairman. That was more surprising for Beli Rama. On the other hand, Krishna Chandra was surprised a little. He did have trust in the Brahmin community. He was expecting change. But this quick change gave him a little surprise. The chairman went to Sematakanda. It was the signal to all that the chairman agreed with Beli Rama and his son. Pitashiri of the Akut girl, I, the chairman of the Brahmin Mahasabha, on behalf of the entire Brahmin community of Kumara kingdom, ask for the hand of your daughter to our most knowledgeable young Putra. The chairman said. Beli Rama was astonished. It was overwhelming for him. The Akuts were even more frightened. Their fearful eyes were looking at Kedarnatha and the rest of the Brahmin lords. When the great Brahmins realized the Akuts' fear, they forcibly took Kedarnatha along with folded hands and stood beside the chairman at Sematakanda. You probably haven't heard that the chairman has asked for your daughter's hand for Krishna Chandra, according to the wishes of the entire Brahmin community. A Mahapundit explained with a smile. The Akuts heaved a sigh of relief. Then all eyes were on Kumari Rukmini's father. Excuse me, Brahmin lords, you might call it stupidity, but I am compelled by my culture. In our culture, marriage is neither imposed on Putaras nor Putaras' daughters. Their marriage takes place according to their choice, according to their wishes. My daughter has rejected many offers. We didn't ask why she does this. But she can do it. Our culture gives this authority to her. Kumari Rukmini's father said sadly. It was one of the times when Kumari Rukmini's father hated his culture. If anybody asked for his wish, then he would instantly say yes to a lifetime offer. You have a very beautiful culture. We respect your culture. Daughters should have the right to choose their life partner. I must insist you ask her once. Rest will leave on her decision. We accept whatever she decides. Beli Rama said. No, Brahmin lord. I will not dare to do so. If this time also she refuses, then with what face will I apologize to you? Kumari Rukmini's father said with wet eyes. I think you do not pay attention to my Pitashiri's words. Pitashiri of Kumari Rukmini, there will be no need to apologize to you. Every decision of you and your daughter will be up to our heads. Please ask her once, I am sure she will not refuse. Krishna Chandra said in one breath. At that very moment, Krishna Chandra started blushing. Pitashiri of Kumari Rukmini, we feel that we are just doing formalities. The chairman said, and everyone started laughing. The words coming from the chairman's mouth were pure truth. Both of them used to see each other now and then. It is not known when both fell in love. Kumari Rukmini used to reject every marriage offer because she did not think of anyone better than Krishna Chandra. One who has drunk the nectar, how can she like any other substance? A similar situation was also with Krishna Chandra. However, he did not have the courage to confront society. He could not even think of marrying an Akhut girl. When this was the condition of a Brahmin Kumara, it was literally impossible for an Akhut Kumari to think like marrying to Brahmin Kumara. Both of them settled on each other's consciences and went on the path of love. With the help of culture, Kumari Rukmini can say no to marriage proposals. She did it too. She kept refusing marriage proposals by taking out some flaws. She could dare to do so, but she did not dare to tell the truth to anyone in her society. She knew very well that the moment her father came to know that his daughter had loving feelings for a Brahmin boy, he would have killed her for the safety of the rest of the community. True love has a unique power, it always finds its way. Krishna Chandra had no idea on which path he had got to his destination. But when suddenly he came to the attention of the Savamanika, he realized which link was connected where. Krishna Chandra understood that it was not a bad time. It was a difficult time, which gave me a lot of good things. Mother Nature, you are the best. Krishna Chandra said from the bottom of his conscience. True love has another unique power, it always wins. So Krishna and Rukmini's love wins too. The marriage of both took place with great pomp. Almost all the surrounding villages had come to see this unique union. For many loving couples, it seemed to be their marriage. Many had made up their minds that they too would talk directly to their respective families. When Krishna Chandra can do it, why can't we? We can do it too. The guest list continued to grow, and Beli Rama's happiness continued to grow. Beli Rama wanted to bear all the expenses himself, but the Brahmin community did not listen to him, and King Balaba Kumara did not listen to the Brahmin community. The food at the wedding was prepared by the royal cooks. The Akhuts and poor children did not find this marriage special at first, but the delicious delicacies changed their thinking. An innocent child could not hold his feelings. He secretly came to the groom and said, "When will you get married next time?" There was happiness all around. The chairman gave the title of Shastri to Krishna Chandra as a wedding gift, which he gladly accepted. Krishna Chandra was happy in the happiness of marriage, and on the other hand in the palace Keshava Kumar was moving in anger towards his father King Balaba Kumar's room.